Hey guys, welcome to You the Boss podcast, episode 18. I'm your host, Pam. Today we're going to be talking about embracing where you are. In keeping up with this month's topic about self and love, I really just kind of want to talk about embracing where you are. As an ambitious person, I know sometimes we can get wrapped up in the tomorrow of things. Once I do this, I'll be able to get here. Once I'm there, then everything will be, great. Everything will be set. And while I don't think there's anything wrong with the mindset of wanting more and wanting to be in a different place than you are, I think it's also important to remember that there was a point that you wanted to be where you currently are. It's so easy to want these transitions, to get these new jobs, these new promotions, start these new businesses, start these new ideas of things that we want to move forward to, that we forget where we are is also just as important. There is also the side of that where people come and they say, don't get too big-headed. Don't read your press clippings when you achieve something great. Don't basically saying forget about what you've done and start over. And while I think that is important, I don't think that you should try to solve tomorrow's problems with what you did yesterday, because that might not work. That might not be the solution for you. You should also remember that today is actually here. I want to give you guys a little bit of an example of, let's say today is Tuesday, and on Friday you have a doctor's appointment. And you're so focused on this doctor's appointment, you're like, I have to remember to go because I have to get blood work done for my physical, that you show up on Wednesday. You show up on Wednesday for your appointment because you're so focused. You're so driven to get to this specific appointment. And they say to you hey, your appointment isn't until Friday. Today is Wednesday. They're not going to take you because you rushed to get there, because you said, let me go 2 days in advance and see if they'll take me. That's exactly what we do with our blessings, with the things that come into our lives. We totally forget that today is Tuesday and that we should be living in Tuesday's date. And that, yes, it's important to remember that you have this thing on Friday. It's important to remember that you need to get there so that certain things can get into place. But you can't rush Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and totally throw them away as days because you have an appointment on Friday. That's the same thing that we do when we don't embrace where we currently are. Again, being ambitious means always wanting to climb the next mountain, always wanting to run the next marathon, always wanting more. Not in a greedy sense, but in a way of, I love how it feels when I accomplish something. And the last 2 years have been really hard on people who are ambitious because we constantly are moving. We are constantly in this state of, we're always moving, we're always pushing forward, we're always reinventing ourselves. And in the last 2 years, everything has been uncertain. We went from knowing what we were doing in 6 months to now I'm just getting through the day. And that can be hard. And one of the things that I've found in this time to kind of keep me from out of that slump of what that can feel like, of feeling mundane, is remembering that today is still somehow better than yesterday. I'm another day older. I get another opportunity today to be better than I was yesterday. Let's say you've been in the same pajamas for the last couple of days And today is the day that you were like, you know what, I'm going to get it together. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to do my hair. I'm going to do my skincare. I'm going to take a bubble bath, etc. You are still, even in that such a small action, you are still better today than you were yesterday. And you should give yourself that pat on the back. We're so hard on ourselves. We put these limitations on ourselves of saying, if I don't do this by XYZ time, I'm a failure. And I know that it's so easy to say, especially if people around you are in different phases in their lives. They could be buying homes, they could be changing jobs. You could really feel like you're not accomplishing. And you totally forget that this self that you currently are today is so much more to love than you are giving yourself credit for. I see this a lot in some of my guy friends. You know, whether they're dads or they're not married, they're not even really dating, and they want to settle down, and they feel like all of their friends are married, all of their friends are having kids, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, when am I going to have kids? When am I going to step into this role of doing all of these things and putting all these limitations on us that we forget to be so grateful to where we are right now? You forget that 5 years ago, you weren't in the position that you are now. And there is the other side of, well, what do I do when I was in a better position 10 years ago? Where my life took a change and now I'm in a completely different space, and I do feel better. I do embrace my life better, but it isn't exactly where I was 10 years ago. Well, you can start, like I say, tiny but mighty, and say you're still here from 10 years ago. There's so many things that have happened in the last 10 years, and you are still here. Not a bus, not a car, not a plane, not another human being has gotten in the way of you making it to this very moment. And yes, wanting to strive for more, wanting to be more for your families, is also remembering that who you are right now is who your family needs. You know, I had the opportunity to speak to someone recently who had some regret of not being able to be there for their kid. And they were saying, like, I just want to be a great role model for them. I just want to be a person in their lives that they look up to. And I was like, listen, you already are that. You are that gift. Because even if your kid is like 2 years old right now, you are the center of their world. You are the nucleus of their life. They are the reason that they eat. You are the reason that they are clothed. They have a home over their heads. You're the reason that they're breathing. And while those things seem to be mundane, I dare you to try to stop breathing for 5 minutes. And I can guarantee you that you won't take a single breath for granted. Something as simple as that. You know, you already are exactly who you need to be in this moment. Yes, maybe if you're looking to invest, maybe you need to make some more money before you do that. Or maybe you need to come up with more creative ideas to put yourself out there, to present yourself. Maybe you need to reinvent yourself at work so that you can bring different opportunities into your life. Whatever that is, you are still exactly the person that is carrying those ideas, those different projects. You are that person right now. You have made it this far so that in your journey, you'll be able to present and say, oh my gosh, I just came up with this idea. Where did this even come from? It came from this very moment. It came from you being where you are today. It came from you embracing the exact spot that you are in the second. If you're listening to this in your car, if you're watching this on your living room TV, if you are listening to this at work, you are exactly where you are and who you are, carrying the idea, the project, the ambition, the energy for your future self. Because without the you now, there is no future self. And so we need to reprogram our minds to not lose sight of the destination, never losing sight of the destination, but also realizing that it's in the journey that the destination becomes worth it. In an example, if you take like 3 years and you save 100 grand, I know I'm being ambitious here, but you save 100 grand in 3 years and you show up and say, hey, I want to put 100 grand down on this house. That destination, the journey that you did, whatever you had to do to save that $100,000 is going to be the story that you tell while you are furnishing that home that you just put 100 grand as a down payment. When you're sitting in that empty house with no furniture, just the keys in your pocket to that house that you just bought, you're going to think of that journey of what it took for you to get there, what it took for you to raise that money. It's crazy because when I think about having gone to college, I say this all the time, like I do not remember what I learned in college. There were certain like pinnacle things that I learned in finance or accounting or international business law and different things like that. But as a whole, I do not remember what I learned in college. What I do remember is working a 9-to-5 job and going to school Monday through Thursday. Towards the end of my college career, I remember taking 2 classes on campus and 2 classes from home or online so that I could divvy up my time and work a different schedule for work so that I could make money and still pay things while I was in college. I remember the journey of being able to juggle school, a job, starting a business, taking care of different parts of my family and different things like that. Those are the things I remember. And yes, I was stressed in those times. And yes, I was exhausted and I was so tired. But if I knew when I was in college what I was actually doing, the mindset that I was preparing my future self to have, I wouldn't have shed a single tear. And so because we have that experience now of saying, okay, I can work smarter instead of harder, that came from a previous me. And so in the moment, you should remember that you will be a past version of yourself tomorrow. And so you shouldn't forget about that journey. You shouldn't forget about stopping to smell the flowers, because on your way to whatever goal it is you have right now, whether it's just getting through the month of February or even just getting through this episode so you can go to bed because you're exhausted, remember that the future that you're fighting so much for is because of what you have right now. And however much or little that is, you have it. Your future self is in you, but so is your previous self. So remember to embrace where you are. Embrace the love for yourself, for your current journey. Loving the skin that you're in is not just physically, but also mentally. Remembering that sometimes the best that you can provide is being the best child that you can be today, or the best sibling, or the best spouse, or the best mom or dad, aunt, uncle, friend. If that's the one thing that you can bring to the table today, you do it to the best that you can. If you live every day where you just take one thing and say, I did my best, I promise you that every day that you put your head on your pillow, you will say, yep, I did my best today. Not every day is perfect. Not every day is exactly as you think it should be. But if you gave your best today and you control the only thing you can control, which is yourself, you've won. You did it. You embraced you. You are exactly where you are because you're also embracing it. It means forgiving yourself for falling short, but also knowing that, yeah, I'm really excited about where I'm going and the things that I want to accomplish and the things that I know that I will do before I die. But where I'm at right now, it's sticky, it's uncomfortable, but I'm so happy that I'm here because that means that I made it through so much beforehand. And I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be and who I'm supposed to be in this moment. I want to leave you guys with the statement of, don't be so busy chasing the life that you want and the world that you want to make for yourself that you forget that the life that you are currently living is but one, and it is so special. Thank you for listening. Come back again next week for another episode of You the Boss podcast.